So we've come to the northwest side of the island, we're on our way to a town called Masca.
This place has surpassed our expectations massively. There was an old settlement here, which is where the Guanches, who were the first people to live on the Canary Islands, lived. It's kind of incredible to imagine how they lived back then. There's terraced crops all down the hills, and it's really steep, so it's kind of crazy to think that they would cultivate crops on these crazy steep hills, but they did.
Cactus juice. It's like, I guess there's cactus everywhere, but it tastes a bit like watermelon. It's really nice. What? This is insane. What we should do is like a highlight reel of us just saying, "Wow, this place is crazy. We totally didn't expect it, but it's beautiful. Oh my god,
this place is insane.
This is insane.
Oh my god, this place is beautiful, beautiful."
But you know, I guess that's what we're learning, is that
Everywhere is.
There's just beauty all over the place. I mean, we're going to some particularly cool places, but like, just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it's not worth visiting.
After our visit around Masca, we drove a little further up and went on a hike in the nearby mountains. We were pretty surprised to find landscape like this and such a variety on a relatively small island. The views were spectacular and it felt good to stretch our legs a bit.
So we just walked all along this crest behind me, which was beautiful, but it's actually nicer now that we can see it from here as well. Whew. Beautiful, beautiful views.
I had a confession, now my feet are steady pacing the floor. Let my guard down a little bit, got hit with an arrow, waiting for yours and the fall.
I feel pretty alive. What a view.
Now we're up in the clouds. It's crazy. It's a bit cold as well.
Forest. Boom.
Where did this come from? It's so orange. I mean, we just come through those crazy wiggly trees, and now we're out and we're into kind of like Arizona land.
Don't wait so long, this life will pass you on.
The next day, we made our way down to Playa de las Americas, which is a big surf spot in the south of Tenerife. We were only there for a few hours in the afternoon, but Lars made the most of it to have a quick session.
Lars is getting really into it. He really wants to buy a board here. They have a shop that does second-hand boards, so he's just trying to figure out what board to get. I don't think I'm ready for one yet, but yeah, and I was just really full, so I didn't join him for a surf, but now that I'm here and watching, I'm super jealous. I'm really envious.
That was awesome. Just squeezed in a couple of hours there before the sun goes down.
So we're currently in the supermarket in Tenerife, and we are provisioning. Probably the most that we've done, or the last provision, like the real provision that we're going to do before we leave Europe. So, big deal.
It's so hard to visualize and imagine, and also we don't really, everybody is always saying how bad the provisioning options are once you get across to the Caribbean, to really get as much stuff as you can. So, okay, I'll go grab some more.
Yeah. It doesn't look like much actually, does it?
What a success. That was a new high score there at the till, gotta say.
Oh gosh, by far.
Yeah, it's like 530 euros or something.
It's crazy, right? Oh yes, success. Help!
Stuff everywhere.
This cupboard is where we have the tortillas. It's just tortillas. And we'll have a noodle cupboard too.
Good.
It took us a little while to pack all the food away, but Navika somehow managed to absorb it all. It always surprises us when we somehow manage to get everything put away. Who knows how many tins of beans have been stashed that we've forgotten about. The next day, we went on a dive in the south of the island. We'd heard that there was a population of stingrays living in the area, so we were keen to go and swim with them. As soon as we were in the water, they were so playful, coming up to us and gliding all around. It's hard to see on camera, but they were really big. They can reach a length of 2.5 meters. They look like real-life magic carpets. We then drove up to the northeastern part of the island. This area is home to the Anaga National Park. The vegetation here is completely different again, because of the almost constant cloud cover blown in from the northerly trade winds. This gives a misty, exotic vibe with a lot of moss and ferns. It's really atmospheric.
Come out of the forest and now we're into the clearing and you can see the ridge behind me. It looks really cool. And we can see the town over there.
I don't know. The longer we spend in Tenerife, the more I love it. There's just so much to the island. It's got so much to offer. We were surfing yesterday.
And diving.
And then today, having this awesome tropical forest jungle hike. It's pretty cool. This is the northeast corner of the island. And you could hike here for weeks and weeks and weeks. There's trails all over the place. Super recommend it.
So we're in San Cristóbal de la Laguna, which is the old capital of the Canaries. I feel like I'm in South America. We're in the Instituto de Canarias, which is apparently an old convent and church. So apparently the monks that came here came down at the same time as the conquistadors. So the conquistadors dropped them off basically and they created a settlement here. We just found that out here, but that kind of explains why the architecture feels so familiar to South America, because I guess the conquistadors who came here then went on to Central and South America and obviously built everything that we know over there. Yeah, architecture, it just feels really colonial.
So it reminds you of South America?
Yeah, it reminds me of South America a lot.
I will say the only words I know.
It's just start tipping it down as we go to the Ananka. It's really raining a lot. It's really cool to see the raindrops on the sea.
Pretty wet. There isn't actually that many places to hide on this boat is what I'm realizing. And once it gets really rainy, the water just comes through the bimini.
But the rain didn't stop us from our mission of the day. Lars had spotted a surfboard a couple of days ago, so we headed back there to seal the deal.
I'm really, really happy about this. Now that it's done and money is paid, I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm so stoked. Couldn't have asked for a better board. The actual guy who made the board just so happened to stop by the shop as we were looking at it. So we'd already decided to buy it by then, but it was cool to meet the guy who actually made it. And yeah, I think it's perfect. I'm stoked.
We spent the next couple of days enjoying the anchorage and headed back to the marina one last time for a big delivery that we'd been waiting for, our new lithium batteries. We decided to upgrade because the extra storage and charge efficiency of the lithium would give us enough power to run the autopilot comfortably on passage and make it possible to run the water maker without turning on the engine. Both things we wanted for the upcoming Atlantic passage.
I'm currently sat in the dark because I was hooking up the new lithium batteries. Hope it works and we get some light soon.
All right, look at these bad boys. Twice the capacity in the same amount of space.
I'm just about to try and turn something on, just on the panel. Oh my gosh, it works.
Nice. We got power. All right, I'm just gonna hook up the charger and then we can get the batteries topped up. That's it really for tonight.
Morning guys, so it's one of those days where we just have a lot of different things to do. We're leaving the marina today, or we should be anyway, and yeah, it's just kind of get up and go. I mean, I did some light yoga on deck this morning, which was so nice at the sunrise, but now we're into jobs already. We are currently trying to repair the UV strip that has come off our head sail, and Naz has also got to go up the mast to see if we can fix our wind instrument, which seems to have died. Well, it's not been working for a while, but I mean, we can't seem to fix it. We have to put all our stuff away. From the lithium install, we had to take everything out of the cockpit locker. We have quite a few other things to do as well, but at the moment I've forgotten what they are. But yeah, all that before leaving around midday, so we better get a move on.
So these are the batteries that we put in yesterday. Shiny new lithium. Yeah, and I'm just putting some of these things in to basically hold it down and hold them in place once we're underway. We've got some straps and lines and things that will go over the top of them, just so they don't fly all over the place when we're sailing, basically.
We were planning on stopping in La Gomera before sailing down to Cape Verde, but we had to finish all our boat preparations, provision, and pick up spare parts in Tenerife, because from there onwards, it would become much harder. Tenerife is pretty much the last stop-off point in Europe, so we tried to cover all our bases before leaving. With all the boat jobs done, we set sail for La Gomera.
This is La Gomera behind us. Second most southerly island in the Canaries. We left loads of wind behind us. We got behind Tenerife, and Tenerife has like a 3,000 meter mountain on it. Just the wind's all over the place basically, but anyway, I'm glad to be here. The last night or two maybe before we set off to Cape Verde, which hasn't really landed yet at all. We've been so busy with, I don't know, batteries and alternator and family and all kinds of stuff happening that we haven't really got it in our head yet that we're going to Cape Verde, and that's going to be the biggest sail we've ever done. Cool spot, huh?
The landscape around here is so impressive. We made our way over to the western side of the island to an anchorage in Valle Grande, which might be one of the most scenic anchorages we've seen in the Canaries. We made it in just before sunset, and cheers to our final stop before leaving to Cape Verde in a couple of days' time. Thanks for watching this far. Join us next time as we spend the day exploring La Gomera, and we have a pretty intense 5-day sail down to Cape Verde.